Hey everyone, off the Mike Sports Network here. A weird offseason for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah, it's been strange. They win the national title about a month ago. Now they've had to replace their offensive line coach. They've had to replace their offensive coordinator, and now they've replaced their defensive coordinator. So their offensive coordinator, really not a surprise for me. Brian Hartline, the longtime wide receivers coach who has put just countless receivers who have been all pros. Some of the best wide receivers in the NFL have come through Ohio State via Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline is now going to be the offensive coordinator and the primary play caller under Ryan Day at Ohio State. I think that's the 100% the right move. It was great to get Chip Kelly and an NFL guy, in the building, but Chip was always going to go back to the NFL or find a way to get to a different pathway to get back to the NFL. Because it seems like a lot of these, head coaches at the college level are trying to get out or at least go to a lower level because the recruiting demand and the NIL demand and the transfer portal demand is just so much on the college game. So that's the first thing. But so Brian Hartline, to me, who's been around this and has done the recruiting game, he's understood the game. And like I said, he has just been on a tear and an absolute heater when it comes to, putting absolute baller wide receivers in the NFL. Like Jeremiah Smith's going to be the next example of this. Whenever he gets to the NFL, and it's amazing that kid still has 2 more years of college. Already had one of the great freshman seasons I've ever seen. But yeah, you could go down the list: Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Like I could keep going, but it's just like outside of LSU, a lot of the NFL's best wide receivers went to the Ohio State University. So Brian Hartline, right decision. The reason for this video is the defensive coordinator hire, the stunning move of the entire offseason, because I wasn't surprised about Chip Kelly. If you paid attention to this channel, I was stunned when Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator of Ohio State, went up, made a lateral move in conference to go to Penn State after Penn State lost their defensive coordinator, Tom Allen, to Clemson. It was a lot about money. It was also about proximity. He is from the Pennsylvania area, I think closer to like Philadelphia. Don't know the proximity. I'm not a big expert on where State College, PA is, but Jim Knowles, it was a raise, and it was also like closer to home. So Jim Knowles leaving definitely left a void because he was a big reason why Ohio State was so good defensively. So the void was there, but there was a rumor that started early this week saying that, Ohio State was vetting out potentially hiring Matt Patricia, the former defensive coordinator with Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots. Also had a cup of coffee a couple years as head coach of the Detroit Lions. And then last year he was the defensive play caller for the Eagles, which was a disaster and ended up getting him fired. But he was out of the profession for a little bit, and I think he was hanging around with Bill Belichick in the offseason. He was potentially rumored to get a job on Bill Belichick's staff now that Bill Belichick is with North Carolina. But Bill Belichick brings in his son as the defensive coordinator. Matt Patricia ends up officially getting the job as the defensive coordinator of the Ohio State University. And I've got some thoughts on this. I think this is very, very weird because if you look at the track record of Matt Patricia's defenses away from Bill Belichick, it's not good. It's not good. It's been middle of the road, bottom of the NFL when he was with Detroit and when he was with Philadelphia for the 1 year where he took over as the play caller. I'm not saying that this won't work because I do think that there are some things to like about the NFL side of things. But my problem is I don't know how much of Matt Patricia's success is actually him and not Bill Belichick. So Ryan Day is definitely taking a swing here, and he's got a little bit more equity than he did because he won the national title. But mind you, Ryan Day still got something to prove. So if this doesn't work immediately, and this is kind of the nature of just being the head coach of Ohio State, Ryan Day still has to win next season because he's going to have the best offensive player and the best defensive player in college football next year. He's going to have the best offensive player in Jeremiah Smith. He's going to have the best defensive player in Caleb Downs. So he better win. And if he doesn't, then we're going to go right back to where we were at the end of the season. And if Matt Patricia doesn't work, then Ryan Day, all the equity that he built by winning this national title with the $20 million roster, we go right back to square one. That's just the nature of the beast. So I think part of this is like, okay, we're banking on some of his NFL experience, but it feels really weird when you have a couple of candidates in-house that you could potentially go on to go the Brian Hartline route. Safeties coach Matt Gurry, I think is his name, was getting a lot of love, but I guess maybe they didn't think he was ready to be the primary play caller. But they did. I mean, I think they might have made him like passing game coordinator on the defensive side. So I guess maybe they wanted somebody with an experience in calling plays on defense. NFL experience kind of matters. So they wanted to go the Chip Kelly route here. It's still like something just doesn't feel right about this. And I know Michigan fans are, gloating about this because Patricia did coach the Detroit Lions, and it didn't go well. And then the guy who got hired after him led the Detroit Lions to maybe the most successful run that they've ever been on in Dan Campbell. So this will be interesting to monitor. I guess you could say I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm also kind of a little bit pessimistic just based off the data that we have of where he was without Bill Belichick. It's just, again, I'm giving Ryan Day a little bit of a pass here because he just won the national title and he was kind of put in a really tough spot. But this just feels kind of underwhelming. It really does. With, I heard Randy Bates at Pitt was a potential rumored candidate. You had people in house. There were other people all over the place that you could potentially have gone to. You could have gotten anybody, really. You're Ohio State. And you bring in a guy who's kind of been really a failure away from his mentor in Bill Belichick. I've heard rumors that he has, studied up with Bill Belichick in the offseason, but I just don't know, man. I don't. So, Buckeye fans, I'd be a little bit nervous. We'll see how it looks. Anyway, we'll have more coming here on the channel. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.